Welcome to today's explainer. August 15th, on the surface is just another day on the calendar, a day like any other, right? But actually, if you look closely at the history of mathematics, this single date secretly powers the modern world as we know it. Today, following the script structure outlined in our source document titled ENGV, we're going to explore exactly how one day completely reshaped our technological reality. Let's get right into it.
We're looking at four brilliant minds across completely different centuries, continents, and disciplines. It's kind of like a massive mathematical detective story. Let's trace this unbelievable timeline and see how their individual discoveries connect to shape our lives, starting with a problem you likely interact with every single day.
So let's dive into this. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder how your private text messages, your online bank accounts, and your personal emails stay perfectly safe from hackers as they bounce across the global internet? It honestly seems like magic that our data isn't intercepted constantly. But there's a deeply structured logic keeping everything secure.
But believe it or not, the answer traces all the way back to August 15, 1798. That's when an English mathematician named Edward Waring passed away. He's the first pioneer on our journey today, and he was totally obsessed with something that seemed, frankly, completely theoretical at the time, long before digital computers were ever even a thought.
His whole idea sounds deceptively simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Edward explored how to break down huge numbers into sums of smaller prime numbers. And you might be asking, so what? Why does that matter to us? Well, in the digital world, multiplying prime numbers together is super easy, but untangling them backward without a key, that is incredibly hard. Today, his pioneering work on primes is the exact mathematical foundation for the digital locks that secure your most sensitive information online.
It really all boils down to this one profound realization. Prime numbers are literally the invisible locks keeping our digital world safe. Pretty amazing, right? But our journey on August 15th doesn't stop there.
We're still on August 15th, but let's fast forward 65 years to the year 1863. A new era, bringing a totally new problem. Picture this for a second. How do giant, heavy cargo ships navigate safely across the chaotic, endless ocean? And on an even smaller scale, how does your phone's tiny digital compass always know exactly which way is north? We completely take navigation for granted today, but it required an absolute genius to perfect. For this, we turn to August 15, 1863, the birthday of Russian applied mathematician Aleksei Krylov. He wasn't looking at internet security, obviously. His focus was on mastering the unpredictable ocean and making sure humanity could safely travel the globe without getting hopelessly lost. Here's the issue. Massive metal ships naturally distort magnetic fields, throwing their own compasses completely out of whack. Krylov actually mastered the incredibly complex math of compass deviation. He built the exact mathematical tools needed to solve these tricky navigation equations. And because of his foundational work, we can reliably calibrate everything from the analog compasses on global cargo ships to the complex GPS systems right inside your smartphone.
Talk about a game changer. He achieved the seemingly impossible, literally taming the wild ocean with the power of equations.
Okay, same date, but 29 years later, we're moving to a completely different country now and diving into an idea that would alter our very understanding of reality itself. Let's step forward into 1892. Take a quick look at the screen you're using to watch this explainer right now. Why does it show millions of crystal clear colors, and how do the microscopic electronics packed inside that ultra-thin device actually make that brilliant display happen without constantly failing? The answer brings us back to August 15th, this time in 1892, with the birth of French physicist and mathematician Louis de Broglie, and his contribution to the scientific world was, frankly, mind-bending. He figured out that microscopic particles don't just act like tiny solid rocks. They actually behave like waves. This breakthrough in quantum physics completely revolutionized how we understand electron flow today. And the absolute crucial point here is, controlling that flow is the exact foundation that powers every single microchip, processor, and vibrant screen we stare at.
It's almost like a cosmic dance. As his groundbreaking work proved, the universe at its smallest is dancing in waves.
One date, so many foundational stories. Let's make one final jump on our timeline, arriving at August 15, 1912, for something highly visual.
So, here's our final question. How do your favorite video games manage to draw these incredibly realistic 3D worlds, with perfectly curved environments and sweeping landscapes onto a totally flat, two-dimensional screen? It is a fascinating mathematical trick.
The math behind this modern magic belongs to an Italian mathematician named Carlo Miranda, who, yup, you guessed it, was born on August 15, 1912. His lifelong obsession was the beautiful geometry of space.
Carlo mapped out complex 3D curves using some really heavy advanced formulas called partial differential equations. By understanding exactly how to calculate these continuous surfaces mathematically, he gave us the precise logic computers use today to render beautiful, lifelike 3D graphics in the immersive virtual environments we all love to explore and play in.
He basically proved that math is the invisible architect of our virtual realities.
So let's just take a step back and look at the whole shebang. 4 brilliant minds, spanning centuries of discovery, all mysteriously connected by a single day on the calendar. It really puts the history of human innovation into a beautiful perspective, doesn't it?
Every single person we met today looked at the world and asked the exact same fundamental question. What is the pattern hiding inside the chaos? Because of their curiosity, we have a secure internet, global GPS, and brilliant virtual worlds. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. Look around you right now. What invisible mathematical magic is powering the device in your hand today?